Crystal Note here. Okay, so basically this is the second video I decided to make, my thoughts on bases. Yes, you are looking at a kitten, that's Tiger when she was just a little baby, sleeping on there. And so my thoughts on bases. Now, if you guys don't know what bases are, well, they're here. I'll show images of them, okay? I'll pause you guys. Okay. So this is basically what bases are. They sometimes come with the option of having wings or a horn, and sometimes only have a certain amount of things. On them as paint, however, I have figured out how to add the horn. Wings, on the other hand, I have spares of those if I need them. I don't always use bases. If you do look at my Definite page, most of the art I post on there nowadays is art that I didn't use bases for, or art that I took a really long time on the bases. I actually have made a few of my own. I haven't posted every single one I've made, but I've made a few of my own. I find it fun to make them. Kind of like giving back to what helped me. Now, some of these bases you may see and think, hey, that looks familiar. That's because some of them are scenes from the show. Others are custom made, such as this one. I don't think there's a scene on the show where there was a pony like that doing that, okay? And if there was, well, that's my bumper. I ain't seen it yet. And people use these for many different reasons, and I bet you even more than I can name. But basically, here's the top 4 or 5 reasons I've come up with for why people use bases. Number 1 for me would probably be for fun, because I know I still use them, even when I have the capability of drawing my own art. I do that sometimes, but it gets kind of boring sometimes. Like sometimes I'll be like on Devinart, and I'll be looking at someone's art, and I'm just like, wow, they're so cool, it's so cool. And then I see a really cool base, and then I'm just like, that's so cool. Or I look at speed paint and I see a really cool base, like these ones, these little chibi ones. I love chibi. So sometimes I use them, and I always credit the person. Don't worry. And if I don't credit the person, I feel terrible and usually credit them in the comments. In fact, if you guys find any of my pictures without a credited base, just tell me and I'll immediately find said base and credit it, because there's most likely that I favorited it. It is extremely likely that I favorited it. So some people use them for fun, or even for practice and just drawing manes and tails. I mean, I remember that's how I use them. Some people like doing bases. Some people, however, don't think that bases are necessary. I think they're fun, but you can have your own opinion. Go ahead. Just don't be pushing it onto everyone else. Okay, I'm not pushing mine on yours. Don't push it. I want to use that base. So basically, and then the second reason I found this, I feel some people use them, is because they don't really think they have the capability of drawing their own art. Like, I remember when I was younger, if you looked at my past art, you'd see a whole ton of bases, up until a certain point. And even then, I was still using them. Like, I didn't even know how to use them before. Like, before, it was just kind of using, and stuff like that. I'd use them, like, constantly. Like, it wasn't even funny. I'd be using them, like, every time I wanted to draw something, I used them. Like, let's say I'd use them no matter what. Which kind of stunned my creativity, stunned my ability. Made it harder for me to learn and be able to do stuff on my own. Even though... But mainly I did it because I thought I couldn't. I thought if I tried, all would happen would be I'd fail, and it'd just be terrible. Sorry, I brought my phone really far from me a second ago. I just thought I'd fail, and it'd be terrible, and no one would like my art. I didn't think anyone would. I really didn't. I thought people would just look at my art and say, ugh, and then I'd have to go back to bases. but they actually do kind of stunt your creativity. I mean, you can't have a base for every idea you have. I mean, people make bases, yeah, but you think everyone's got the same brain as yours? Not everyone's got the same ideas as you and the same kind of creativity ideas and stuff like that. People have different ideas, different ways their brains work. Everyone has different appeals to their kind of art. Some people think this and others think that. So if you have a certain nice, then you can use a base if you find a really cool one. Just don't rely on them. I know you guys probably hear that all the time, especially if you watch certain reviewers, but but yeah, just don't rely on them, because if you start relying on them, it totally just makes it harder for you to learn. Like, you rely on them and suddenly it's like, oh man, they don't have a base in that. Well, guess I can't draw that. Like, really? Just try. You have to fail, trial and error, am I right? If you don't try, you don't fail, yeah, but you also don't, you don't accomplish nothing. So just try to break away from bases. If you're starting out artist, you can have fun with them. Just you gotta switch off bases after a while or so. Okay, number 3 reason is, this is a perfect example if I've been sticking around by it. This one, capturing moments. Let's say there was a pose or a type of main style or something you saw a character in. Like this main style from Castle Sweet Castle. How many people did you think wanted their OCs dressed as this? It's crazy main style of, oh my gosh, I am totally blown away by it. Like, I just looked at it and I was like, how do I draw this? And I couldn't draw it, and because I still wasn't, that good, I thought I really didn't want to draw it, so I kind of left it alone. Honestly, now I wouldn't mind drawing it. But basically, like, capturing moments. Like, maybe a really cool pose you saw one of the main 6 standing in, and you just have to have that base. Some people even do requests on DeviantArt. I've seen they do stuff like, hey, if you find, if let's say someone said, hey, there's this moment on MLP where there's this amazing character, can you please draw her as a base? And people usually credit it, and I do that too. If someone commented, hey, here, and then set a link to the picture or something, or describe the episode, or wait, look, I'd rather link to a picture, but I know how to trace them on MS Paint and make them into a base. If you really want that pose and you don't know how to, or don't have the time, that's another thing, time. But yeah, so also people do it for memorable moments. Like this, I want to save this. I want to find this base on my computer and do this. This looks real fun. But yeah, memorable moments, stuff like that. Who wouldn't want this main? I mean, you see it. I mean, I like it. I like it. It's spiky and cool, and I am falling in love with it. But yeah, memorable moments. And the number 4 reason for me is people might use bases for reference. Even I use them for reference sometimes, or inspiration. I remember one time I had an artist block, and I just couldn't think of anything to draw myself. I kept trying to think, and then I'd think of an idea, but then I'd be like, no, wait, can I draw that? Are you crazy? But that's what I kept telling myself. I can't draw that. I can't draw that. I can't draw that. I kept thinking that, and soon enough, it became true to myself. Then one day I saw one of these bases, right? Not that one. Then one day I saw one of these bases. It was just a simple headboard. But then I wanted to draw something for a friend. So I drew something special, but I wanted to draw it and make it look good. So I literally looked at a base. I don't even remember which one it was, but I looked at a base, a lovely base, because it was a shipping piece. and I tried to do a redraw of it, sort of like a different, and I used as a reference for where everything goes, but I also changed a few things. Lifted a few hooves, changed a few eyes, made a few differences. Drunk like that, you know? I made it different. Not the same. So yeah, so some people use them for reference too. So far that's about the only reasons I can think of for using bases. You may have more reasons or found some of these reasons to be untrue to you and kind of stupid. But this is what I've gotten from what I've gotten, okay? People use them for these main reasons. So, I hope you liked the video. Sorry there's no background music this time. I honestly couldn't try to get to play. It wouldn't play. Need to figure that out. So, I hope the next video can be like a Denver Nut review. We'll see what happens. Because that video's not even uploaded yet. In fact, I don't know when this one will be uploaded, but yeah. So, those are my thoughts on bases. I'm just going to say them now for if I see any bases being used. Oh, and stuff like this. Like cute little things like this. Okay. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any other thoughts or ideas on bases for why people use them, for why you think they are actually a good thing, like I think they can be good because you do have to put time and effort to make them, but just don't rely on them. You gotta break out your shell at some point, and whether that is starting from scratch, heck, you could even do a tricycle technique or something. I don't know. And whether that's starting from scratch or turning from using the exact base to crafting it into turning into a reference, be my guest. Just, or using them for creativity. Be my guest. Just don't rely on them. That's all I ask. Okay, thank you. This Crystal Note saying, please like, comment, and subscribe. This Crystal Note signing out.